You're listening to Thursday Night AMP on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Because Dolph is so great when it comes to selling and getting guys over and stuff, that they want to make sure that Nakamura can work their style and get over with their fans, even though he's already over with, 85% of the world. They're going to make sure that he gets over before they move him up a level. So Dolph is going to go over, and we're going to see this feud for a couple of more weeks at least.
No. And he doesn't need to get any more over than he already is when the entire crowd sings his theme song even after the show is over on their way out of the building. I think he's already over enough. So I hope to God he just wins clean and moves on. So we move on with the rest of this card. Naomi, Charlotte, and Becky versus the welcoming committee of Natalya, Carmella, and Tamina. Now, this is my I could care less who wins match. So this is the one where the ring can collapse and they can rebuild it and the match can be thrown out. I have no pick, but Abby, maybe you do.
I don't know why we're not having a women's title match. I don't get it. I don't understand this whole welcoming committee against these other three. I don't understand any of this. So
I'll actually give you a reason because they have a Naomi versus Carmella singles program in mind. That's why there's no title match.
Nah, fuck that shit. No. I'm thinking we might get a heel turn in this match. I'm hoping kind of that Becky turns heel on Charlotte and we get something with those two.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I don't want Charlotte to go back to being a heel. I want Becky to be a heel. She needs to be revamped a little bit because as much as I love her, she's getting to be a little bit, it feels like she's treading water and needs a good, swift something to happen.
I will say it's getting a little stale for her to always come out and be like, "Oi, I'm the Irish chick. Oi, I'm going to kick your last ass. Oi." It's like, okay, we've heard it already.
She's Irish. That's how she talks.
I know it's how she talks, but as a babyface, it's gotten really stale. It's the same shit every week. All right, Jason, your pick.
Fucking New Japan, get the fuck out of here. Two things. Number one, there is absolutely no stakes in this match. Thing number two, Stevie, I think you completely skipped over Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin. Again, in this match,
I was going to get to that later, but go on.
Okay. Yeah. Again, I don't really care about this match. There's no stakes. I'm going to flip a coin. Heads, it'll be the faces, and tails, it will be the welcoming committee. And it is tails, so I will go with the welcoming committee.
All right, take us home, Will. Which one's going to win?
Okay, first of all, can I say that I felt that the whole draft, it was so shitty. They should have kept Charlotte on Raw and kept her as a heel and traded and sent Becky Lynch maybe to Raw. For the main fact that she's Irish or Scottish or whatever the fuck you want to call it, and Sheamus is over there with Cesaro. Same difference, whatever. They all eat potatoes.
We got a lot of listeners who just got offended. I think our friend Bionic Iguana might be a little hot at you right now.
I'm being culturally insensitive like a Mickey Ficky this show. But
you're being real insensitive.
But I would have loved to have seen her, like, kind of being a little stable with Sheamus and Cesaro and stuff. I don't like Charlotte as a babyface. I think her best work is a heel and stuff. It's horrible. I think they took a great gimmick and ruined it, sending her to SmackDown. And because of the trade off and stuff, both women's divisions has suffered tremendously. I'm a huge fan of women's wrestling. I don't want the ring to break for this match, but I don't think that this match really serves the purpose. I hope they don't have a Carmella Naomi match. I don't think Naomi is a good champion whatsoever. But I would like to see Tamina really show off in this match and stuff. So because I want to see what she can do, and hopefully they'll kind of let her be the big, strong, beastly bitch that she is. And that's and that's a great compliment. I really don't take that as offensive. Like, that's a huge compliment. I hope that the welcoming committee goes over.
I would have said the same thing about Awesome Kong during her heyday in Impact. She was just a big, bad, don't fuck with her kind of bitch, and it was a compliment. I meant it when I said that. I was like, you don't mess with Awesome Kong in the ring. You just don't. I don't know if Snuka is on that level, but if she gets to that level, I'd be happy.
My dream women's match in WWE right now would be Tamina versus Nia Jax. I would love to see those two go.
Yes.
Oh, my God. I would love to see those two go at it.
That would be your somebody's gonna die match right there. So
Exactly.
speaking of which, since Jason already brought it up, I won't delay, keep it on the ice anymore. Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin. I think Sammy's probably going to die. Is that what you were going to get to, Jason? Is that what you wanted to say?
Unfortunately, yeah. It's like much as they use Dolph Ziggler as kind of like the jobber, that's what they do with Sami Zayn too. And for whatever stupid reason, they have it in their mind that Baron Corbin can be an upper mid-carder or in the main event picture. I don't know why, but they're high on Baron Corbin, and they're going to put him over in this one.
Reluctantly, I agree. Abby, what do you say?
Agreed.
All right. Will, is it clean sweep?
Yeah, Baron Corbin, unfortunately, is going to win this one.
Okay, well, then that's why I didn't need to talk about that match any sooner, because it's obvious to all of us. So, let's move on to Kevin Owens and AJ Styles. Who's winning this? I think Kevin is retaining, but I'd like to be wrong. Abby, am I wrong?
Yeah, no, maybe. I don't know. If plans don't change to, channel my inner Dave Meltzer, I think Kevin will retain.
Seems like they're making him the new face of the place to steal a gimmick from AJ. So, yeah, he's going to take this Face of America thing and run with it for a while. What do you say, Jason?
Kevin Owens retains just so AJ Styles can face the winner of Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal for the big belt. The belt that should be the big belt anyway, but yeah, Owens retains.
All right. Well, what do you say?
I think AJ is going to take this one. I think that they're going to put the title on AJ and kind of do what they did with Cena when he had the United States Championship and do some open challenges and stuff. I think that they're going to move Kevin Owens onto something bigger and better, put him in the main title picture again and stuff where he needs to be. And AJ can settle with the U.S. title and really get that belt over and stuff.
As long as he doesn't wrestle James Ellsworth again.
I have only one objection to that theory of Will's, and it's the fact that they printed up new Kevin Owens merchandise with the USA colors, so it seems to me like the U.S. title gimmick is going to ride with him for a little bit.
But he's not American. He's Canadian.
That's why it's so great. That's why it's hilarious that he's the face of America.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he hasn't gone full on Lance Storm and changed the name of it to the Canadian title.
And technically, he's not wrong if you're referring to North America, then he really can be the champion of America.
Maybe. And you leave James Ellsworth alone. He's awesome. I love James Ellsworth.
Well, he'll take a nice bump in the 6-woman tag. He'll get his shine, so don't worry about him.
Be nice to Cecil the Turtle.
Okay, so we got 2 more matches left to talk about on my card at least, and one of them is the Usos versus Breezango. And if comedy was worth gold, if funny actually equaled money, Breezango would win. I don't think that's the case. And this time I'm changing the order up, so Will, you go first.
Even though I know the Usos are going to win, and I like how, he slipped up, I don't know which one. Which one is it? Was it Jay that slipped up and mentioned, who did mention? The Bullet Club during SmackDown Live?
I don't remember who did. Somebody'd have to refresh my memory.
I can't remember, but, I don't know what's up, what they're trying to do with the Usos, whatever. It's better than what they were doing before. I like Breezango. I think they're gold and stuff, man. But unfortunately, gold, comedy and being funny and stuff, doesn't get you too high in Vince's book for the most part for some reason. And so he's going to keep on the Usos just because, Vince is really big on Samoans and shizzle.
All right. Well, we're in dead total agreement on that. So, Abby, it's your turn now.
I don't care. I cannot, and I'm Southern and I really shouldn't, say anything about how people talk. I cannot understand anything that the Usos have been saying during their promos on SmackDown. I ain't got no clue what they're talking about. Breezango, I can take or leave because they just really don't do anything for me, so I just don't care. I'm guessing the Usos retain, though, because I don't think Vince wants Tyler Breeze and Fandango running around with title belts.
No. And that would not be Jimmy walking or Jay walking. What do you say, Jason?
This is the match where I hope the ring breaks, and I hope they fall into a black hole and all 4 of them die. Fuck the Usos. Fuck the Village people. Just fuck them all.
I'm glad this is the recurring gimmick now of the Backlash pay-per-view is we've all got one match where we want everybody in the ring to fall into a black hole and vanish.
Yeah, the Usos are going to retain, but just fuck everybody in this match. To hell with you all.
All right, well, that's Jason's official prediction. That leaves the main event. Randy Orton versus Don't Hinder the Jinder Mahal. And, Will, I'm starting with you again.
I want Jinder Mahal to win. I don't like Randy Orton. I mean, there's so many reasons why he shouldn't go over in this match. Can we just have something fresh and unexpected for once? That the dirt sheets and everybody else don't know about and stuff. Can we just give it to Jinder Mahal? He looks like $1 million, whether he's on the gas or not. Just give it to Jinder, please. Just do that.
He's all the things you just said, but he's also a really crappy worker. He doesn't show me anything in the ring anytime he wrestles. He was a jobber forever. I can't take him seriously just because they got hot on pushing things in India. I say no. I don't buy it. I can't see him beating Randy. What do you say, Jason?
If Tiger Royd Singh wins, that's when I riot. Yeah, Randy Orton's retaining here.
All right, Abby.
Hold on. Jason, say that again. Tiger what?
Tiger Royd Singh. That's my name for Jinder Mahal. He's Tiger Royd Singh.
All right, well, that's Abby getting to close us home on Backlash. So, what do you say for the main event?
Me?
Yes, you. You get to take it home. What do you say?
This is the match where I want the devil to open up a gate to hell in the middle of the ring and take the Veiny Bastard and Randy Orton down there with him. Yes, we've been unanimous. All of us want some portal to hell to open up sometime during the show. I do not like Jinder Mahal. He is disgusting and disturbing to look at. He can't have a match without physically marking somebody up and hurting them. He is not a good worker. When he got released by WWE, no indie in his area where he lived would hire him. The only people that showed any interest was TNA. The only reason he's getting this push is because WWE thinks there is some kind of big untapped marketplace in India like they thought in China, and we all saw what came from that. And I'm sorry, but you don't turn somebody from a jobber into the number one contender for the WWE title in 1 week span of time for no reason at all. It's not believable, and especially with this guy, it is completely undeserved. No. Randy Orton is a piece of shit who could lose a match, who he couldn't find his way out of a hefty bag, much less win a match with one. So I don't care. I don't care. Just get him away. Just the refrigerator should have beaten Orton, and Jinder needs to go back to Canada. That's all I care about.
Actually, Abby, Jinder worked a lot. When he got released from WWE, he was working a lot of promotions in Texas, surprisingly.
Well, I've heard that his hometown indie promotion wouldn't even take his phone calls.
Well, yeah, but he was working for, like, Texoma, a couple of NWA companies in Texas and stuff. He worked for Branded Outlaw, I know Texoma. I think he made an appearance at Booker T's promotion and stuff. So he worked he was mainly working in Texas, and that was it.
But, I mean, the guy is just, he's not the kind of person you want as a champion for a company that touts something called a wellness policy. He's just not. No, he's not. But I don't have to see him every week.
You don't get to see him any week.
This is true. But none of this makes sense. None of it makes sense. None of it. They are focusing more on the business end than the product end, and it's a dumbass thing to do.
Well, I think
it's not believable, and it's not like the fans hate the man. And here's my biggest gripe with it. Despite the fact that he's a veiny bastard that just disturbs me to no end, when the hell did the Indians become our enemies? Vince is still in this whole 1980s foreign heels are bad. Indians are our friends. They're good people. They like cows. They're peaceful.
And make
they
very
work the call center.
Yes, they
and
work
they
the
work
call centers, damn it.
And Curry
Hell,
is
if
awesome.
you're going to have him be a heel, go out there and say, I'm stealing your fucking jobs. That'll make everybody hate him. Not this Maharaja shit. Nobody cares. We like the Taj Mahal. We like India.
If he wanted to be a heel to me, he could come here and say, I'm stealing all your papadums and vindaloo and curry, and you can't have any.
We're closing down all the 7-Elevens.
He can be the
taking them
curry
all
Nazi.
back home.
No curry for you.
And everything is going to India.
What, Will?
Now
What?
who's
Like it's Samantha from Dubai over here. I mean,
Okay, let Will get in. He's
stupid.
excited. What do you want to say, Will? What are you so excited about?
Now who's being culturally insensitive? She's supposed to we're taking on closing all the 7-Elevens. Now who's being culturally insensitive because I said Scottish and Irish people all eat potatoes? Look at you! Oh my God!
Actually, I don't remember you
have-
saying anything about Irish people and potatoes. You just confused Becky Lynch for being Scottish. You thought she was Scottish.
Rude. Irish people don't wear kilts.
Yeah,
Paint ourselves blue.
and seriously, they are very, very, very specific about it.
Sensitive about that.
Yeah, they don't play with that. Especially with the soccer teams over there. They are die hard. They do not care. They will fuck you up.
But I'm just saying, if you want people to hate gender for being a foreign heel, threaten them with, people with heavy accents stealing our jobs in call centers and closing the 7-Elevens and, fucking up our computers on purpose when we call them to get them fixed. But Indians are our friends. I mean, we like these people. They're peaceful.
Actually, Abby, you just gave me a great idea. I want Jinder Mahal dressed up like Erwin R. Shyster in a computer center telling people he's going to put viruses on all their...
I want him in a Geek Squad shirt. Him and both them little Bollywood boys. Just come out there with a Geek Squad shirt on, it's basically.
The call center boys.
Yeah,
he shows up with the Geek Squad boys, and they go and look at the computer, and the guy says, well, my computer's not working, and Jinder says, I know what's wrong with it, and he picks it up and throws it out the window.
We could have used that for the anonymous Raw general manager angle.
I would like to see Jinder Mahal working. I would like to see Jinder Mahal working behind the counter of 7-Eleven, and somebody comes to get a Slurpee or whatever, and he just throws it on the floor. He just knocks it off the counter, like the Slurpee machine's broken. Like that would be awesome. That would piss me off because I love Slurpees.
No, he needs to go one further. He needs to take the guy's head and shove it in the Slurpee machine and then turn on the faucet. You want a Slurpee so bad? Have it! Damn.
But I mean, the thing is, it's not like Mahal is a Russian or a Bulgarian or, somebody we actually do hate.
Well,
he's Canadian by way of India, and we like these people most of the time.
Honestly, in 2017, I don't think we have anything against Bulgarians either. Rusev's
don't.
Yeah, I like Rusev.
They turned him Russian for some strange, ungodly reason that I still don't understand.
You know the reason, because like you said, Vince McMahon still is this 1980s mentality of evil foreign heels. That's why
it's not the Iron Sheik. It's not, Nikolai Volkov. That shit don't fly no more. And it's...
You're trying to change the leopard into a something with stripes, and you can't do it.
No,
hey guys, just be happy that he didn't make Nakamura North Korean, okay? Just be happy about that. Just be glad that he didn't make him North Korean, okay? At least he kept Nakamura.
Made him Prince. Okay, I'm already pissed off enough about that.
Kim Jong-Nakamura.
No, they can't. His cheeks are not chubby enough to be Kim Jong-un. They can't do that.
Just saying.
They made him Prince already, and that's bad enough. And I refuse to use the artist known as. No. If you're going to do something like that, at least get the artists who have inspired him correct.
Yeah, and you notice that I did not once address him as the artist this entire time. You're the only one who brought it up.
Because it pisses me off.
I know it does. That's why I didn't bring it up.
It's Freddie Mercury and Michael Jackson. Prince ain't got nothing to do with it. You've got Prince down in NXT as Patrick Clark. Have him be the artist known as Patrick Clark.
Velveteen. Yeah, that gimmick is dead on arrival as far as I'm concerned. I don't need Patrick Clark.
See why I didn't want to talk about Backlash? We've been talking demons and portals of hell and sheep's masks and snatching people bald and
Creepy
Yeah,
clowns.
it's just not going to be good.
No, TakeOver will be the better show this weekend. But then again, you're probably right that the Evolve shows will be better than that.
And
They
the UK show
definitely
is going to be
will.
better than that. I don't
Yes,
know. If
they
Keith Lee's on the Evolve show, the Ash is going to blow everything out of the water.
Keith Lee
You know-
is like most underrated of 2017
I love
right
Keith
now.
Lee. I love him so much.
You know what's so funny about Keith Lee? You know what I find ironic about Keith Lee?
That you worked with him for years and nobody knew how great he was?
No, not even that. Is that 10 years ago, when I was a greenhorn, if Keith Lee would have been doing half the stuff that he was doing now, he basically would have got blackballed on the indies and stuff. They would have chewed his ass out nonstop for thinking about being a 300-pound guy who could dive, even though Vader was doing moonsaults back in the 80s and stuff. It's so funny that, like, people get on the Twitter machine and on Facebook and all these other social media platforms, and they complain about, guys keeping things realistic or doing shit that makes sense or whatever, and they never mention Keith Lee whatsoever. I just think it's very ironic that Keith Lee is 300 pounds, and for the most part is probably a better high flyer than 60% of the high flyers on the indies right now who weigh like 150 to 200 pounds less than he does.
You know why nobody says that shit to Keith Lee?
Because he's 300 pounds.
Exactly. Yeah, you're both right. Either one works. I was going the same direction. Either one works.
I don't know. I kind of fell for Keith Lee over WrestleMania weekend. It's like, how have I not seen this guy before?
I was very mad when they gave him the gimmick that he had in ROH. I felt like the powers that be, and I'm not going to mention their names, but I felt like the powers that be at ROH didn't really pay attention to what Keith Lee could do.
They do that with a lot of people, though. They did it with ACH. They just completely wasted him.
And once again, Keith Lee is an example of what's wrong with professional. One of the few things that's actually wrong with professional wrestling is that guys aren't, using their talent to the fullest potential because they subscribe to this archaic belief that the show, that if you're in the first 3 matches of the show, you should keep it very basic, and you shouldn't want to steal the show if you're in the first match of the card or whatever.
I don't care where you are on the card, you should want to steal the show.
But don't say that in the locker room. Jesus Christ. You'll get chewed out and have your bags thrown out by somebody. They screwed the pooch on Keith Lee. They screwed the pooch on Dijak. They definitely screwed the pooch on ACH and Cedric. Just bad. Once again, just
a guy like
bad
Moose too that they let go. I mean, they just don't know what to do with the talent they have. And Michael Elgin, they let him go too.
Exactly. Well, actually, Michael Elgin asked for his release.
Yeah, Michael Elgin wanted
Yeah, he
out.
didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, same thing with ACH. Like, ACH just didn't re-sign his contract. Like, those guys basically
ACH divorced his wife that he didn't want to be with anymore. Or at least according to that promo, he did.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything else?
Well, unless Abby wants to run down the entirety of the Evolve cards, I think we could wrap it up. But if she does, the floor is hers.
Now, I was going to go through some news items like we did last week.
Sure. Let's do that.
Highlights from the past week. I can find you're going to have Riddle and Kyle O'Reilly for the WWN title on Saturday's Evolve show. And what's weird is that Sunday's Evolve show is the same time as Backlash. They're going basically head to head.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Especially since they have a working relationship. You'd think they would try to separate them a little bit.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let's go through the news. Do we have any? We had the New Japan announce their new the IWGP United States title during War of the Worlds last week. And I'm sorry, that looks like basically that, I don't really know what the title looks like. It's ugly. It's just ugly. It's like Hellboy had a one-nighter with gold lame, and that was the product of it. Because it's just an ugly-ass belt.
I'm wondering who are they going to put the title on, and what's going to be the purpose. But what's going to be the purpose of having a United States title?
the plan, Kadani earlier this week in Japan, the plan is in the next 18 months to have a permanent branch of New Japan based out of California. They're going to reopen the LA dojo and have a touring company, a touring branch of New Japan here. So whoever is the IWGP United States champion will be the top star in the U.S. branch of New Japan. You know, basically like they'll have some of the Japanese stars come and work 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, however much they're comfortable with, and kind of rotate people in and out. But there will be a stock roster for the New Japan branch here and slowly work their way out and expanding in the States from LA east. But yeah, that U.S. title is going to be their main title here.
Abby, I know I've asked you this question before, but where do you live at down south?
I live in Albany, Georgia.
All right, so are you going to, Evolve is coming to Atlanta in July, I think. They're coming to North Carolina on July 8th and then Atlanta on July 9th, right?
Okay.
Are you planning on coming to any of those shows?
Yes, I am planning on I'm going to start going to, there's a new independent, the Bulletproof Dojo that Joey Mercury and Luke Gallows have here. About 2.5 hours from here. They do shows once a month. And yes, if Evolve comes to Atlanta, then yeah, I plan to go to an Evolve show in Atlanta, definitely.
Because I will be wrestling on the show right before the Evolve show. They're doing a joint partnership with AWE, and I will be wrestling the 1 o'clock show. Yes. So we'll get a chance to meet each other in real life, Abby. It'll be awesome.
Oh, I know. That sounds so good.
Yay.
But yes, anything that's, Atlanta around here, within, 3 hours or so driving distance, yes, I will definitely go to. Unfortunately, due to a family incident, I missed out on seeing Jimmy Havoc at the inaugural Bulletproof show, and I just hate it because it's like that's all I wanted to do was see Jimmy Havoc at that show, but I wasn't able to do it.
I had friends that went to that show. I was in, I can't remember the name of it. It was Southern. I was in Lyons, Georgia that night, and I heard that show went really, really well.
Yeah, it sounds like they're doing really good stuff up there. Last month it was, or I think it was last weekend, it was Cody doing a cookout, and they had Jay White and David Finley on the show. They haven't announced for next month yet, but I plan to be at next month's show, so hopefully. Let's see, other news. Also last Friday night, as we've already talked about at War of the Worlds, Adam Cole got kicked out of Ring of Honor, and Marty Scurll got inducted as the newest member of Bullet Club, which I think it was a very good move.
And then promptly lost the TV title the next night.
Well, Marty's Ring of Honor contract was only for 6 months, with an out after 6 months, so I think that 6 months is about now. Although it is kind of weird to see Kushida walking around with a Ring of Honor title. That's just odd.
Yeah, that's part of the thing. It's like, okay, how's that going to work going forward? I don't know.
Yeah. Also in the news, John Cena wants to play Vince McMahon in the upcoming Vince McMahon biopic that they're working on.
Honestly, not that big of a stretch because I've seen Cena do a pretty good impersonation of Vince.
Yeah, I don't know though. That just kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Understand.
I think we talked about this when it happened last month. Independent star Richard Delicious collapsed after a Florida show last month, and they thought that it was a massive heart attack.
Yeah,
he was taken to the hospital.
He had 2 more heart attacks on his way to the hospital.
He was put into a medically induced coma, and he passed away this past week on Tuesday, I think.
Yeah.
Or Sunday.
And everybody from Evolve and WWN expressed their condolences, and we do as well. That really sucks.
Yes, I mean, he was a young man, and it was just something totally out of the blue, and WWN said that several of their upcoming shows, that the money was supposed to go to his medical expenses. I don't know now if they're going to go to his funeral cost. It hasn't been really discussed.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they will do something appropriate with those funds to honor him or to, maybe set up a scholarship for him, something.
We do know that Emma was hurt. We don't know really what's wrong with her. We know it's a shoulder injury, but no real clue on what it is.
She's kind of kept mum on social media. She's not really letting the cat out of the bag on that.
No. Billy Corgan has completed his purchase of the National Wrestling Alliance from R. Bruce Tharpe.
And unlike previous reports, he actually does get some access to the tape library. He doesn't own it, but he gets the rights to use it.
Yes, the same rights that Tharpe had. What he got in the deal was the NWA name, their rights and trademarks, and possession of the NWA Championship belt. It's also been configured for Corgan to take Tharpe's position in the NWA's VOD service, as well as the Paul Bosch Wrestling Library. The ownership of the library will stay with the Bosch family, but Corgan will have, full use of it for the VOD service.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. John Cena is slated to return to action in
July 4th.
Yeah, July 4th in Phoenix, simply because WWE doesn't think they can sell the shows otherwise.
Right. They need to fill up Talking Stick Resort Arena, and he's the way they're going to do it.
But they've taken him and Nikki Bella both out of the opening montage of SmackDown. Read into that what you will. I don't know.
Cena already had a response to that. He said, well, it's not because I'm not on SmackDown anymore. It's because they've got a bunch of new guys they did in the talent exchange, the superstar shakeup, and they got to get them some buzz.
Yeah. Then on Sunday night, we had the whole Randy Orton drunken at Denmark airport.
Dive.
Burying indie stars. Yes.
Dive.
Yes, dive. The whole dive, I'm a dive guy, I'm not a dive guy. Will Ospreay, of course, had to jump in and start making money off T-shirts. I commend him for it.
And he mentioned Randy Orton during his speech yesterday, his promo yesterday, in that horrific House of Horrors match or whatever. He actually mentioned that in his promo.
It was bad. But yeah, Randy Orton, I did a nice little feature called A Note to Wrestlers. Tact on wrestling social media ain't a bad thing. Don't tweet and drink, folks. Just don't do it, because it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. One of my favorite promotions out there in the world right now is Progress Wrestling out of Britain. And the co-owner of that promotion, his name is Jim Smallman. He starts every show off with one simple rule. That one simple rule is don't be a dick. It's in the openings to every show they have. Jim stands in the middle of the ring before the shows and says that to the fans. Don't be a dick. And this kind of, applies to Randy Orton. Going out there and saying, the indie marks, the indie guys, the old timers who do dives and all this shit. And I'm going to go home and, I'm better than you because I do bigger shows than a standing room only crowd of 150 people paying $8 at an armory somewhere. Shut up. WWE isn't the be all end all for everybody anymore.
And
for you to sit over.
Sorry,
yep.
I was just going to say, I actually think it was Will Ospreay who said, that's fine, Randy. You're in your ivory tower. You're protected. Some of the rest of us have to actually do what we have to do.
Yeah, and I mean, go ahead.
Go ahead, Abby. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Randy Orton talking about this. And the thing is, he can do what he wants. He can say what he wants. He is one of the most entitled, protected, and pampered stars wrestling has ever seen. He's a product of nepotism and a last name that was known and respected in the business. But this man is someone who had some huge issues before he even showed up in WWE. Dishonorably discharged from the military, court-martialed, anger issues, drug issues, injury-prone talent, treating his coworkers like crap, wellness policy violations that had to be overlooked so he wouldn't get fired. He's not one to talk about hard work and perseverance and doggedness, because that didn't get him to where he is.
Now, here's what I'm going to say, and I said it Monday, and I'll say it again. Is that wrestling is a business. We make money, and like the great Kudoku said, wrestling is about wrestling. In my opinion, and the success is a tangible thing. Success depends on who you are as a person. Randy Orton pays his bills from wrestling. And I know a lot of guys who work in these armories and these VFWs that he was basically, shitting on, in front of fans who pay 8 to 15, sometimes $20, a ticket, who pay their bills with the money they make from wrestling, whether it's their fee, whether it's their merchandise. If I'm paying my bills doing the same thing that you're doing, and although my bills are not going to be nowhere near as high as yours are because, well, I live a very simple life, does that mean that I'm not a success? I think that he was completely wrong to insinuate that if you're not working for WWE and you're not working for a company that made $5 million in the past 11 shows, that you're not successful. Guys such as the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Sami Callihan, Fred Yehi, the list goes on and on. Team IOU, guys who work 4 to 5 days running up and down the highways, who pay their bills from the money they make from wrestling. How can you say that these guys are not a success? And like you said, Abby, if Randy Orton got released from WWE tomorrow, I feel that he would be broke in a year. I think that he would be a huge story of riches to rags and what not to do, because I think that he would get booked for the first 6 months to a year, but after word gets around about how difficult he is to work with, no indie promoter, I don't give a shit how big of a money mark they are, no indie promoter is going to want to have to deal with that headache and stuff. I think that unless he has an ironclad guaranteed contract that's going to last him until he decides to retire, that he might not want to piss off so many people.
Exactly. And a lot of people pointed out on social media that it sounds like he's upset because he doesn't get the accolades that the indie guys do. That it's kind of a jealousy thing. And I don't know that I really buy into that argument, but I think there's a little bit of insecurity there because everything he's done, it was handed to him. He didn't have to work for it.
Well,
or
definitely.
At least not as hard as some of these other guys. He's
definitely. I think there is a definite tinge of jealousy there. When have you ever heard a discussion when they're talking about the best wrestlers in the world and Randy Orton's name gets brought up? You know what I'm saying?
No, Randy's one that's it's always said he's never lived up to his potential. That's what you hear about him. Even Triple H has said he's never bothered to try to live up to his potential.
Well, I think that's because he's never had to work. Like you said, he's never really had to work hard. Jim Cornette said on his podcast that, Randy Orton's one of the he's one of the smoothest guys in the ring, super athletic, one of the most athletic guys he had ever seen in OVW, but he never really had to work hard. He knew the minute he got to OVW, he was going to only be there for a cup of coffee before he got pulled up to the big time and stuff. So he's never had to, say again?
He was there for 8 months, and that's it.
Exactly. He's never really had to work hard and worry about, making bookings and showing off for somebody and getting noticed and getting recognition. So he doesn't appreciate the level of success that he has, like a Daniel Bryan or a Seth Rollins or a
AJ Styles.
Or an AJ Styles, who was, especially AJ Styles, who has been working for almost 20 years or whatever, has worked for every major company, and until just recently, just made it to WWE.
Yeah, and I just think it was very tacky and very petty for Orton to do that. And while I think it would be probably better for these guys on the indies to ignore him, I'm kind of, another part of me, that petty part, is really glad they're cashing in on it. Will's, I'm a dive guy, I'm not a dive guy, and the dive shirt, go for it. This guy was a jackass sitting there drinking and tweeting. Make your ass some money off him.
I might do that. I definitely might do that.
All for it. Next up is Braun Strowman. WWE posted their official story that said that when they went in to do surgery on his elbow, they found out it was shattered from Roman Reigns' stare attack on Raw last week, and he'll be out for 6 months, which I think is a bald-faced lie.
It is absolutely a bald-faced lie. Your favorite wrestling reporter, Dave Meltzer, said he'll be back by SummerSlam.
He'll be back before SummerSlam. I have a feeling they'll close out Great Balls of Fire And I cannot say that name of that pay-per-view without saying it like that. Great balls of fire. They'll close it out by having Strowman come out and attack Brock. That's just what I'm thinking that they're going to do. Jim Ross will be at NXT for TakeOver Chicago.
He's going to call the UK Championship match.
Yep. Let's see. We've already talked about Tanahashi being injured. Scott Hall was hospitalized for a heart condition over in England.
And then flew home against doctor's advice.
Io Shirai has signed with WWE, apparently.
But her start date has not been set.
Not been revealed, no. Speaking of Joshi Stars, they have told Carrie Hojo that she cannot use her elbow drop anymore because Bayley uses it on occasion.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yes, I know. I'm going to be writing a feature about that. I do not appreciate it. Former AWA Tag Team Champion Pretty Boy Doug Summers passed away this week. He was 65.
Yep, Pretty Boy.
Yeah, I remember watching him on ESPN back when I watched wrestling in the 80s.
Back when my grandpa watched wrestling on his satellite dish.
Eva Marie is done with Total Divas. They are interviewing people to replace her, and Charlotte's name is at the top of the list.
That can only be an improvement for a show I don't even watch.
We're getting more Southpaw regional wrestling people. It is coming back.
Woohoo!
And last but not least, CM Punk has been offered $1 million for a one-off deal to return to 5-star wrestling for one match in the UK.
Yeah, for their 128-man tournament show.
Yeah, just think of what a promoter could do for $1 million instead of, throwing it at one idiot.
And like I've heard a lot of people say already, he'd be an idiot to not take it. Take the money and run.
Take the money and pull an Alberto and just don't show up.
Well, they'll probably only give him half up front, so it'd be more like his UFC 203 payday.
Take half the money and run and do a birdie and just don't show up.
I'll add one more very brief news note. It came out that Brie Bella's labor was actually 22 hours long, and that's why she finally had the C-section.
Birdie was not wanting to make an appearance in this world. She was very happy where she was.
Nikki was blaming it on Brie's tight abs.
Nikki's an idiot.
Well, I think that goes without saying. If you haven't already figured
that out from Total Bellas and Total Divas, then I'm sorry, but yeah.
Exactly. All right, I think it's time for cheap plugs then. Will, what do you got to sell?
Just besides following me on Twitter at WA Huckabee, follow me on Facebook at William Huckabee, and Instagram at William Huckabee. This Friday, I will be at Firestar Pro Wrestling in Greensboro, North Carolina. Saturday, I will be in Benton, Virginia for Pure Pro Wrestling. And then Sunday, I will be back in Greensboro, North Carolina for Pro Wrestling Experience. In Cabarrus, North Carolina for Pro Wrestling Experience. And then follow me and listen to me every Tuesday for the Wrestling Nerdcast. Bam.
I was just about to say that because you hadn't said it yet, and I was like, damn, I can't let you get off of here without plugging the Wrestling Nerdcast because it's the best and the brightest of the indie talking to the best and the brightest of the indies. So you can't miss the Nerdcast each and every week. It's golden. And now, for more gold, let's get Jason's plugs.
You can follow me on Twitter at Great Sudoku. I'm going to plug njpwworld.com, the best 999 yen you can spend a month. On YouTube, I'm going to plug Wrestling with Regret because they just put out a video on one of the worst wrestling movies of all time, Backyard Dogs. Gotta love that. And also on YouTube, I'm going to plug something that Kevin shared on Facebook. Do a search for Aussie Earth, Wind, and Fire. There's a mashup of Crazy Train and September that's just completely awesome.
Excellent. And I do love Brian Zane and Wrestling with Regret, so that'll be my cheap plug other than following me on Twitter at AngryMarks and liking our Facebook page at AngryMarks. So, Abby, what do you got to plug besides Top Rope Press?
I will plug me on Twitter. You can find me at Abby A. I will also plug Progress and Rev Pro Wrestling. Great streaming services. And this week I will once again plug Fight Club Pro, which again this week I still can't say. That is the promotion out of Wolverhampton in the UK, co-owned by Trent Seven. I just got their 3 DVD set of their Dream Tag Team Invitational Tournament from back in April. Great promotion, great talent, great shows. Go out there. They've got video on demand on Vimeo. Check them out. They're great. You'll love them.
All right. Well, that's Thursday night AMP. So for the entire crew, the MVP of the Angry Marks Podcast Network this week, the incredible William Huckabee, his third show of the week. Thank you so much, sir.